Hello and welcome back to the best to the best podcast on planet Earth. This is Dark Screen Society, and we
Yeah.
have your wonderful, amazing regular host. We have Seth. Say hi, Seth.
Hello.
We have Chuck.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Who's the dork now?
And we have Brian.
Hello.
They're making fun of me because I bullied them in the Google Notes because I asked, which is a great segue into our next question. What did you dorks watch this week? What do you recommend to our wonderful listeners? I'll go with the first dork, Brian.
King Dork. I think you'll think.
King Dork.
Okay, I watched two movies I rated 3.5
Ooh.
on Letterboxd that
Ooh.
weren't related to this topic on the podcast. So first one, I finally watched Cuckoo, which I thought was
Ooh.
phenomenal.
It
It's still a bit of
is.
it. I'm still a little confused about.
That's
I'm like,
okay.
but a lot of it, I was
Same.
like, I get it. And then I was like, but that little bit doesn't make sense. But overall, I was like, yeah, I love this movie. That's the first thing I've ever seen Hunter Schafer in. So I was like, okay, I get
I
it.
love that.
Oh, nice.
The other thing for my if we're going to be dorks was a movie called Masking Threshold, which
Ooh.
is from a guy's. It's mostly from a POV, but it's not found footage. The guy
Ooh.
he's got weird hearing issues. Doctors
Mhm.
say it's tinnitus. He's like, no, it's not. So he starts investigating. All we hear is his train of thought, and he just slowly starts losing his mind. And he's like, I think I can hear like my clothes, and I can hear death. And then like it just gets darker and darker. Like he's constantly yapping through the whole thing. A lot of people will hate it, but it's like 3.5 on Letterboxd, but score I think maybe 3.1. It's honestly, it's the people
Oh,
that
that's
like
pretty
it.
good.
The people that like it, I think, will really love it. But some people will be like, "This is boring and dumb as shit." But it gets kind of Lovecraftian at the end. I was like, "Yes," because I was looking for Lovecraftian horror stuff, so that came up. I was
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, I'll try that."
That sounds
What was
good.
it? What was it called again?
Masking Threshold.
Okay. Ooh, I love very
It's a good movie.
audiological. I feel like somebody that was like studying audiology because when you're masking your threshold, that has to do with hearing, and if it has to do with tinnitus,
Well, there's a
interesting.
lot of really good
Ooh.
sound quality stuff in it as well. Like it's one for headphones if you can watch movies
Sounds
with
fancy.
headphones.
Oh,
Is it comparable to like Barbarian Sound Studio?
I haven't seen that, but
If you should see it.
yeah,
If you
it's,
like,
it's on my watch list.
Mhm.
I just haven't seen it yet.
Fantastic. Mhm.
Yeah, Toby Jones is always good though.
Mhm.
interessante. Chuck, what'd you watch?
It's my part to add to the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Dork, come on.
Well, now I have to make an announcement because Chuck, the movie guy, is finally on Letterboxd.
Oh yeah. Oh my
and I-
God. Yes.
and I'm taking this Letterboxd very seriously. I didn't at first because my top 5 was all Eden Lake, but I switched it to be more professional.
I like that. I wish you'd kept that.
Yeah.
I want to be a professional journalist. But the two things I seen Magpie with Daisy Ridley, which isn't technically a horror movie. It's a psychological thriller. It's in US cinemas as we speak and coming to video on demand on November 12th, and it fucking rips. But it's slow. And it's slow, like methodically slow on purpose. But the character building and the world building and the attachment to the characters just drew me in. And it's, we were talking about endings on the pod last week that really like hit you by surprise. And it has one of them. Like I was just like
Ooh.
I was sitting at the computer, and when it hit, I immediately rewound it and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And then like watched it again. I was like, I got chill bumps from talking. I was like, holy shit. And it came from her mind and with her husband. It was really good. And last night I had the opportunity to watch the new movie from JWoww from Jersey Shore, Devin.
Oh yeah.
And there's no embargo on it, but I'm not gonna glaze it up too much. But I will say, if I feel the way I did after the first time I watched it, it's without question the best found footage movie of the year. And you can tell that she loves horror because she cut out it's an hour and 11 minutes. There's no mindless walking around, and it is legit. There's some legitimately scary shit in it. Like I thought it was at least as scary as like Host. And I think Host is fucking scary. And it's scary in a different way. Like it's very smart. That's all I could say about it. I fucking loved it.
I am so excited. Honestly, like, when I got a couple people that, like, sent me it, they're like, "Oh, 2024 challenge means you gotta watch the JWoww movie," and I was like, "No, I'm genuinely excited to watch the JWoww movie." Like, I feel like this is gonna be, like, a nice little surprise. So
It,
that
it's gonna, and I think what they're doing now, the more I'm paying attention. I know we just got done glazing Shutter last week, and I love Shutter with all my heart, but they're trying. You know what I mean? Like they got
Yeah,
some shit coming up from what I found out. And this is like the flagship Screenbox movie that's coming out that I think is really going to surprise a lot of people and be on a lot of lists, because the only way you can't like it is if you just don't like found footage. But if you love found
okay.
footage, I guarantee you fucking like it.
Comes out
Ooh,
this month. Is that right?
November
Like
12th. Yeah, it'll be on
yeah,
Screenbox November 12th. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm excited to watch it. Seth, what'd you watch this week?
Sorry about that. My the mailman came by and Wednesday decided to bark her ear off. So if you heard
Oh,
barking, that's why.
she protect.
Um, she is protecting. Not very good at it, but
That's okay.
um,
She's cute.
she is right. So I watched a few things actually. So the first thing I watched was Hunting Matthew Nichols, which doesn't have a release date,
And it
but
fucking rips.
it fucking rips. And I got to speak to the director doing an interview, and that movie, like, they're trying to do kind of like the marketing they did for Blair Witch, and I think it's gonna do it just the best service. And the movie is literally about this person who's looking for her missing brother, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to like spoil too much. But it has some crazy twists and turns, and the ending literally shocked me, and it had one of the best jump scares in a long time.
Oh yeah. It
Ooh,
really did.
Yeah.
I haven't
Um,
even really heard of this one.
yeah, definitely add it to your radar. And then the other ones that I watched, because it was like Halloween, I like literally watched the first like 4 Halloween movies, and then Friday the 13th, the 2009 movie again, which I've
Rips.
seen them all. But I have to say, after rewatching the 2009 Friday the 13th, that like opening sequence of just like Jason just fucking going full speed at somebody is like the most terrifying thing I've ever
Yes.
seen. Like,
Anything running is
It's
terrifying.
yeah,
it's so good when it leads into like the title card. Like
yeah,
it builds up the right amount of tension that the comedy doesn't like flatten the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to my buddy Jonathan Sadowski, who's in Friday 13th 09. He listens to the pod.
There you
Oh,
go.
shout out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot how great that movie is, and that opening scene literally gives me chills. Like it's so creepy seeing like a monster like that just go full speed at you, who's just like like you can't do anything. You're fucked.
No, that's literally how I feel about 28 Weeks Later when it opens
Yeah,
with them just, like,
Yeah.
fucking running after her. I almost threw up the first time.
yeah,
I had a actual panic attack, and I had to turn off the movie. I was like, "I fucking hate this."
yeah,
Anything running is terrifying.
yeah.
Mhm.
My cardio's not up to speed.
Oh my god!
We love dogs today. I would love to see them expand on the 2009 version, because I think that like underground tunnel system that Jason
Yeah,
has is so interesting. Like that little, like, cause he was like smart and intelligent, and he didn't just have to move fast. Like he was just like out thinking them. And that element of that movie just is so far superior than walk around the camp, stab a camper, fucking go to sleep because this is boring as fuck. Like, yeah, it was good. It ripped.
yeah. That
Yeah,
with the floodlights, when he turned on the
No,
floodlights, I was like, I
Yeah.
thought that was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like that, Brad?
exactly.
I do, but I'm
I know.
disagreeing with Chuck's
Oh,
Oh, I
calling the
just
other Friday
no.
13's boring.
oh, I love the
Uh,
other Friday the 13th.
Oh, because you love them.
I do. I've got it
Yeah,
tattooed
it's
on me.
like I mean, it's okay. Well, I think the iconic nature of the film and what they did for horror and slashers, like I'm not respecting it. You know what I mean? I don't think they aged well to
No,
me.
I get that.
And
It's like
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
just
that's
me.
precious.
fair.
I'm not
Like is
precious over people
Jason
just liking
yeah,
my
is
movies.
Jason iconic? Yeah, I want another movie. Like let's update him and like they did already. You know what I mean? Like I'd like more of that because he's so visceral.
Yeah.
I'll shut up
Agreed.
now.
Yeah, what the hell? Just
I'm
kidding.
such a dork.
We're yapping today.
I have listen.
I'm giving you guys the floor today.
I got these
Yeah.
new supplements. They're called GG Yappers, and I took
I
one
know.
this morning, and they just fucking yap. So
Visit my
Mhm.
store, link in bio.
yeah,
Not approved by the FDA.
Guys,
Yeah, I know.
were you seeing that? I think there's something in my room, and I'm
yeah, it's
kind of
okay.
scared.
It's all good.
Oh,
If I
that
It
she's
die,
like,
she's
yeah,
literally just staring at the fucking wall.
oh
yeah.
yeah, it's probably haunted.
It's a ghost.
Okay.
Um,
I
Yeah.
died today.
I rewatched Host, and
So
of
good.
course, it was amazing. It's so funny because it's like a Host is so incredibly freaky and, like, not that, like, not a lot happens because it does, but it's just, like, the anticipation where you're like, something's gonna happen," and that it does so perfectly. I also watched Totally Killer for the first time. I'd never seen that movie, and oh my god, I was in love with it. At one
Yes.
point, I literally,
That's
like, belly laughed so hard, and then I, like, rewound it so I could, like, watch it again because I thought it was so fucking funny. It's when she pulls out the gun and she's like, "Daddy got me this too!" And then she starts blasting.
did it erase Time Cut from your mind?
Yes, because
Okay,
I
good,
because
good.
I actually watched Time Cut first,
Mhm.
but I knew that it had a similar premise to Totally Killer, so I was like, "I'm gonna watch them back to back, Time Cut and then Totally Killer," so they're both fresh in my head, and then I was like, "Oh my god, Time Cut is," and I know that Time Cut was filmed and produced everything first. Time Cut was way long
Yeah.
before Totally Killer, but obviously Totally Killer came out first,
Right.
but I'm just like, "Wow, that fucking sucks." It's kinda like during COVID times when Zoom, like, everyone was like, "Yes, like, Zoom is, like, here," and then Skype had been here for, like, 10 years, but it was like nobody fucking used it because it sucks so badly. That's kinda how I felt. I was like, "Wow,
Yeah,
that
but there was a
sucks for you."
there was more than the pandemic as reasons that movie didn't come out. Like they kept delaying it because it's not fucking good.
No, it's not
Yeah.
good.
Totally Killer though is like one of my all-time favorites. And I love like I really hope that they do kind of like a mashup of Happy Death Day, Freaky, and Totally Killer because they're supposedly all set in the same universe now.
Yeah, that's
He's
100%.
directing a new film, I'm sure. I saw the director's name and something that's coming out soon. I can't remember what it is, so that was breaking news.
Well, I know the Freaky, yeah, he's doing Hard Eyes, that new
That's
slasher.
it.
He's
Yeah.
producing it.
Oh, Hard Eyes.
Yes,
Looks
yes.
great.
I like
I
the
love
poster.
Yeah. I love, there's not enough Valentine's Day horror movies,
Mm-mm.
so I like that. Um, okay, well, amazing. So, we're getting to the meat of our topic today, which is cult horror movies, and actually Brian pointed out something. He was like, "Do you mean like cult, like a cult following, or like they're actually based on cult that has a following?" And I was like, "No, we are talking about cults, like yes, Satan, cult
Satan.
worshiping,
Oh shit.
yes."
I thought you said the other thing, so my list is not going to make any sense now.
Da.
Make sure you join the Dark Screen Society cult. It's a fun time over
Exactly.
here.
Mhm.
The cult as in, like, the cult we are. So,
Satan.
I love cult horror movies, except, like, we signed on and I was like, "Guys, I can only think of 3 cult horror movies." So I'm excited to hear your I was like, the 3 that I like or the 3 that I thought of.
I bet you I
Um,
could guess those 3 cult movies too.
you already know what they are. So
I could probably guess those 3 cult movies.
So that's what we're talking about today, cult horror movies. What is it about cult horror movies that draws people to this subgenre? Because everyone loves if they hear that a cult is in a movie, they're like, "Oh, I'm fucking in." Seth, what do you think?
Everyone loves following the leader, okay? And it lets them do that without actually having to join a cult.
Yeah.
And the craziest shit happens in cult movies. Like it's like you think you know what's gonna happen, and then like there's always this big twist and then ending that just is like, oh, that's fucked up. So yeah,
Yes. I like that. Brian, what do you think?
So I think the appeal is a lot of people don't know they're in cults, so they like to watch things that are cult related and be like, I can't believe people would fall for that kind of clearly cult behavior. So I think it's just an attraction, thinking, looking at other people and saying, like, that's so stupid that they've
Mhm.
fallen for that. And that's what appeals to me anyway.
No,
Air
100%.
of arrogance.
I totally agree. Even though I 100% think that I'd be the person that would fall for a cult. Like I think that I'm smart and then I'm like, "No, I would fall for this." Uh
I'd be too nice to leave. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
no, me too. Like, sure, I'll kill somebody for you, I guess.
yeah,
I don't
right.
know. Chuck, what do you think? What draws people to this subgenre?
I think that people are fascinated with cults and the thought of cults because most of the world suffers from lack of like social acceptance. And I think the genuine person wants to be accepted by things. So vicariously living through what cults present to people is a sense of community. And that's how they get you at first. You know, it's a sense of community, a sense of belonging. It's the same mentality of why people join the Crips and the Bloods and, the Latin kings and gangs, it's because it gives that sense of community and brotherhood and leadership and parenting that a lot of people are missing in their lives, because most people in the world are coming from the aspect of their own self-centeredness and doing everything for themselves, but that's because they lack that sense of community and being in their lives. And I think that's the thing that is very attractive and how people can get into a cult. I would definitely get sucked into a cult, like 100%. I
Oh,
could.
yeah.
Mhm.
And if this was, like, way back, not, like, way back, I'm like, "Oh, way back when, the '70s," but, like, I feel like in the '70s, I would be even more susceptible
Oh,
because
when
I
it was
feel
all
like
like free love and everything, like, come
yes,
and join in,
dude.
like on a commune with all these other hippies. I'd be like, yeah, right in.
100%. If somebody was like, "Yeah, come join this thing," and then, like, we don't work, we just plant food, I'd be like, "I'm so in,
Sign me
dude.
up.
I,
Sign me up."
I was talking to Scary Zara Mary this morning, and she
Uh-huh.
said it would only take three things to get her to go into a cult, and that was titties, Satan, and pizza. And I was like, yeah, I would join that cult in a heartbeat.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, okay, which horror movie cult feels the most realistic to you? Chuck, I'm gonna start with you.
Which horror movie cult seems the realest to me? I kind of didn't want to answer this question, but I'm going to answer it because it also is like my underrated movie that I'm pretty positive that none of you are going to talk about.
Oh.
But the cult that the Olsen girl came from in Martha Marcy May Marlene, which I don't know if you've seen it, seemed like a very realistic cult. It's a fucking phenomenal movie. It's one of the
Every time I was like researching underrated cult, that kept coming up. Like, so
yeah,
I need to watch this. It's on my watch list now, but I
it's
didn't watch it
so
yet.
good. Like, I mean, but it's like a not traditional type of cult movie, but it is. I mean, it's a very psychologically disturbing film. It's very good. And also from my favorite movie of all time, from The Master, and it's loosely based on Scientology. So no offense to any of our listeners if you are a Scientologist, but the movie does represent it in a cult-like manner. But you can see the reason that people join that is because of the leader in the sense of community and bringing them in
Oh,
and
yeah.
promising so many things that other like religions and things don't give. So I could see why people would be attracted to it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are involved in that because of the attraction. So that's my two. So I did a kind of two-parter there.
Yeah, and that's a nice little, a cautionary warning. It's like mostly cults do have some sort of like religious basis to them. It's a belief. That's why you're following somebody. There's a
Right.
belief. So it's like a lot of them are based on certain, certain religions, certain practices and stuff like that. So to any of our listeners that follow any of these, because obviously there's a very thin line between something that's like structured and stuff and then to it turning into a cult when it starts to become like control, so
Right.
it's no shame in anybody that's a part of any organized religion or anything, but there is this thin line where it's like, well, there's just a little line that you need to push in order for it to be a cult. So Seth, what's your most realistic cult?
The Invitation.
Oh, I love The
Oh,
Invitation.
yes.
Yeah,
It's so
That's actually
fucking
what I want.
good.
it's such a great movie, but that getting invited over to a dinner party, and I don't want to spoil the movie if people haven't seen it, but that feels like the most real to me because you don't really know people like who they really are, and they can always change. And I don't know, that movie just feels too real, and it's so creepy.
No, totally. Was that yours, Brian?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kinda like mine because, okay, mine was The Sacrament, which I know The Sacrament is actually based on a real life cult, the People's Temple,
Even though
but
even
it
though Ty West denies that it's based on that, like it
yes,
clearly is Ty. Come on
I'm
now.
like, "Bruh,
Right.
what?"
Even the
100%.
guy's called Gene Jones in it. Come on.
Yes,
You're
I'm
right.
like, he's like, "I don't know, it came to me in a dream." I'm like, "Dude."
Gene Jones.
I'm like, "Please stop." And, like, even certain, like, footage is, like, the exact footage of the Jonestown Massacre. I'm like, "You why are you denying this, dude?" Um, but
It's
even
so
if it
good.
no, but even if it wasn't real, like, it feels the most realistic because it's like, many, many cults are like this. Like, even the
Mhm.
ones that we don't know about or hear about, like, they all have this, like, certain feel to them. I don't know, and that dude is just so bl like, the main guy, he's
Oh,
just
I
So
so
good.
love him. That's a
he's
performance
so
that does
good.
not get spoken about enough. That
Yes.
that is
And The
like I
Sacrament?
yeah, like
Yes.
I watched it again this morning,
Fucking
last night, sorry,
incredible.
And I was like that's genuine charisma there. Like it's
Yes,
really hard to
yes.
have charisma, but I was like, fuck, that's it. That's what charisma is. Also, they kill a lot of kids in that movie, which I did not remember.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I
There's
know,
a
killing
and they're
lot.
over
babies and
here
stuff, and I was like, whoa.
yes, they're out here murdering infants, and nobody batted an eye, so
I need to
when
watch this
Art the
movie.
Clown comes, yeah, it's
You never seen it?
Uh-uh.
oh, it's
Have you
so
seen
good.
Red State from by
Yeah, I've seen
Kevin?
Red State. That one's great.
Sacrament is they're very similar movies, but Sacrament is significantly better. And I love Red State.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Adding to the watch list.
it's so good.
Partially found footage because I was always saying it's my favorite found footage or one of my favorite found footage
Yeah.
films, but there's a lot of non-found footage shots in it as well, which I forgot apart from on rewatch.
Yeah, it's a great one.
It is.
So what's everyone's favorite cult horror? And this you can tie it in if your favorite cult horror is also an underrated because it's Dark Screen Society. So we always have to talk about an underrated cult. But I feel like certain people have like, okay, their favorite cult horror movie and then like an underrated one that they love but may not be their favorite. Um, Brian, I'm gonna start with you. What's your favorite cult horror movie?
Okay, I'm not going to do underrated now because I think you've got
Okay.
a question for that as well. So I've got two. One more modern, which is Hereditary, which I think isn't just my favorite cult horror, but it's one of my favorite horror movies ever. Like it's incredible, and the more you read up on it, and you're like, oh, all the cult stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Chuck's a hater, man.
I know.
Yeah, he is.
He's not. I don't think you've rewatched it.
I
With
was
all
gonna
the-
watch it on Halloween. I just couldn't fucking do it, man.
with all the extra knowledge around the stuff that the cult does that you don't see front and center. I'm like, you know what, that
Yes.
it elevates the movie. I can understand some people watch that and be like, I need to know immediately what this movie's about. I don't want to have to go away and watch a 4-hour YouTube video and then come back and be like, okay, now I get it. Now it's a good movie. So I can understand why people don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't agree, but like I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I,
Hereditary.
I respect that, and
I know you
I'm
do.
honestly jealous of it because the premise of Hereditary going into it is if you read it and you knew who I was, you'd be like, this movie's made for Chuck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's such a fucking Chuck movie, and like I hate the fact that I don't like it, but like we'll get there. We'll get there.
That happens. There's big movies that we all don't like that I'm sure the others love.
Yeah.
My second one is I rewatched that today just to make sure it is The Wicker Man, which is fucking incredible. Like
I
it's
still have never seen it.
well, I hadn't watched
You
it
and me
since I
both,
was, like,
CG.
young,
Yeah.
and then I rewatched it, and it's just like it really messed because I don't. Do you know what the story's about?
Mhm.
No.
So like a policeman, it's a remote island in Scotland, and a policeman from mainland comes out. He's like, I'm looking for this little girl. They're like, she doesn't live here. We don't know who this girl is. And then like eventually they're like, okay, we know who she is, but she died. And then he's like, well, where's the body? And then there's no body, and it's just like they keep fucking with
Oh.
him. They keep messing with him, and like the whole island's the cult. Have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Yes.
that
Yes.
So it's very similar to Hot Fuzz, but as a horror movie. It's even
But
got
like
the
a
same-
serious horror movie.
well,
Okay.
even the
That is-
bad guy from Hot Fuzz is the good guy in Wicker Man. Which
oh
I
my
get
god, wait, that
excited.
is incredible.
It sounds
So
similar
I-
to Apostle.
Yes, very similar to Apostle. Not
It is.
ending's not as bonkers as Apostle, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's like Apostle was clearly and Midsummer were clearly influenced by Wicker Man.
Which
Okay.
Wicker
That-
Man? The original or the one with
Oh,
Nick Cage?
100% the original.
Okay.
The Nick Cage one doesn't exist. There's a documentary out that I just watched about the Wicker Man and the birth of folk horror that I would highly recommend watching before you watch the Wicker Man
Oh, okay.
because it gives you so much. I can't think of it. Remember the name of it off the top of my head. If somebody can look it up,
Yeah.
but it goes so in depth to the spawning of the folk horror movement. It's called not Shades of the Wicker Man.
I've seen the.
It's gonna bother me. It has
yeah.
a red poster.
I've seen the poster.
I just watched it.
The Cult of the Wicker Man?
No, hold on. It's gonna
Yeah.
bother me till I find it.
Wicker Man documentary. Why don't
Yeah, that's what it should be. Folk horror documentary.
is it just about the Wicker Man or just like folk horror in general?
No,
Shudder.
it's not on Shutter. It's
Oh,
not out
really?
yet.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
This is fun for all our listeners.
know, right?
That's
Good
all right.
day.
They could do. They're all right.
Yeah, we'll
Tell us,
Shadow
while
of
we're
the
waiting, tell us your favorite cult horror. And then comment.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know
I'm
what your
sorry. Yeah, what's your favorite?
No, you're so dude, people on podcasts do this shit all the time, and I'm
Why the
like,
fuck can't I figure
I'm
out
along
what
for
it
the
is?
ride.
I'm bummed
Um,
now.
but I need to watch Wicker Man. I need to watch whatever this documentary is, but I
Hmm.
will say, going back to Hereditary, because I'm going to quickly answer because Hereditary is my favorite cult horror movie as well. But it took me a long time to get there because I don't know if you guys ever seen the meme of Danny DeVito when he's like sitting in the movie theater and then like the caption just says, "I get it now." That's like that was me watching.
Just I have to make a correction. He's not sitting in a movie theater. He's sitting in the prison watching Mac explaining why he's gay,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
always sunny in Philadelphia. But just because that's one of my favorite TV episodes
It's
ever.
the best.
Okay, there you
That episode is so good. Like I cried during that episode.
Okay, there we go. I think somebody wait, where he's in the prison?
It's a great
Oh,
episode.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
so
Okay.
quite quickly, please. So Mac, who's one of the characters, his dad's in prison, and he's like, I want to come out
Uh-huh.
to my dad, and he's like, the only
Uh-huh.
way I can do it is by performing a dance, and then like the dance, they do the dance. The dance is genuinely beautiful. Like I don't get dance
Oh,
in movies, but I was like, wow, this is
yeah.
incredible. And then Danny DeVito's like, I don't get it, I don't get it. Then he does a dance, and he's like, I get it now, and he's crying, and his nose is
Oh,
broken. It's just,
okay, wait, that's really sweet. Okay,
it's
I
so
did not know. I've only seen like a handful of It's Always Sunny episodes. So to the point where I didn't even know that Mac was gay. So okay,
he
interesting.
only came out in recent seasons.
Okay, spoilers, but
Spoilers.
so it's literally that. Like I was like, "Oh, it's a like I watched it in theaters and I was like, "Oh, this is like a good movie." Like I didn't hate it, but I was like, I don't understand this like but on this cult following that it has. Like I was like, I just don't really understand. Like I did and I didn't. And then I rewatched it, and then shout out Paul from Heavy Spoilers. I watched his thing, like his little deep dive and Easter egg and everything into it. And then I was like, this is the smartest movie ever fucking made. Like
I found it. I
I was like,
found it.
oh my, I can't believe I did not appreciate this movie before. So there's hope. If you didn't like a movie before, or you just didn't get it, like, and then later on a rewatch, I think it's great.
We had that same convo because
Yeah.
we both saw it in IMAX and we both loved it after because I did not like it the first time, but the
Mhm.
second time there were so many things I missed and I loved it.
So
I was
good.
fighting for my life in this podcast here for
Dude,
Yeah.
for
There you
real.
are.
I
Now
gr-
it's us
I
dorks against this one.
I greatly apologize, but it's called The Last Sacrifice.
Okay, that
Is the documentary, and I don't know why I couldn't think of the name of it, but it is fucking peak documentary. Like it's
I
so
should have just
good.
said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I just my mind just wanted to share that with you, Gigi, and our audience because The
Thank you.
Last Sacrifice is fantastic.
No, I literally popped up as like the first I was like Shudder folk horror documentary or like whatever, and then it popped up, but it just looked like a movie. So I was like, "Oh, this can't be a documentary.
Mhm.
This literally looks like a movie."
No, that's it. Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, I'm excited. Well, even though like nobody can watch it. Um,
So our favorite cult.
no, not your favorite cult. Well, yeah, your favorite cult horror movie. So
Is it
I think
can it not be a horror movie?
yeah, as a horror movie.
My favorite well besides The Master because
Talking about Raiders.
I love The Master. I'm a Philip Seymour Hoffman junkie. Like I
Mhm.
and Joaquin Phoenix. I can't say enough about that film. It's one of the greatest acting duels between two actors in the history of cinema. We could do that in another day. But I think my favorite enjoyable cult media is Waco that was on TV on Showtime with Tyler Sheridan, with Taylor Kitsch and
That was
Michael
so good.
Shannon,
Uh-huh.
because not only is Taylor Kitsch an Oscar worthy knockout fucking phenomenal performance as David Koresh, but Michael Shannon was
Mhm.
phenomenal. John Leguizamo was phenomenal. Like it is riveting from beginning to end. I'm fascinated with the Branch Davidians, Thibodeau, the real guy, like hands on, helped write the account of what happened there that day.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so they did a lot. There was a lot of like real life account of that actual event that went into it. It is I've probably watched it 25 times. Like cuz it's so fun.
Oh,
I mean, it's so good. Just so I love it so much.
I love Michael Shannon. I've never
Yeah,
watched it.
it's
Uh,
great.
I
it's
just heard
fucking
like good
great.
things about it.
Mhm.
Can I, before we go on, so
Yes,
Just as
you can.
a slight reference between or slight link between two. So you said Joaquin Phoenix you're a big fan of. He actually grew up in a cult for the first 4 years of his life.
Right.
What the fuck? Also,
Yeah.
what did you call him?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Joaquin. I like saying
Yeah.
Joaquin. Could you
That's okay.
the
It's
Joker?
okay. He's from Scotland.
That's okay.
I
But
like I like Joaquin better.
Yeah.
I'll just start calling him that. You know Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. So he was in a
Um,
cult for the first 4 years of his life.
are
Which one? I can't remember which one it was, but basically it was the one where it was like it's okay to have relations with children, and his parents were like, "No, it fucking isn't," and then they left the
Gross.
cult. So he was in it, and also Rose McGowan was in the same cult.
Oh yeah, I
wait,
remember
I can't
oh my
that.
god,
remember for
I
the
need
life
to
of me what the
Google
name of
this.
it is.
the Master also covered the because for Freddie Quill, the guy that he plays in The Master, it goes into some of that real life account because he did like method acting for that. And that's he pulled well, but I'm saying, but he pulled from like real life experience of
Yeah.
like his upbringing and growing up and
Yeah.
everything for that performance.
Children of God cult.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Children of
children.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. I do remember I went through like a big like when you just hyperfixate on something for I did hyperfixate on like real life cults for a while, and I remember reading about the Children of God, but I don't know why it like never like it slipped my mind that that Joaquin Phoenix was in this.
Must be an
Wow.
ADHD thing because I hyper focused on cults a wee while
Dude,
ago as well.
dude, I know about the most niche cults out there. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about the actual real life niche cults that which is a question later on. So, wow, okay. So, Chuck, that was your two.
Yeah, Waco and The Master. I mean, I'm a horror movie junkie. Like I love horror movies. I did my count. I'm at like 308 for the year.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
I live, breathe, and spit fucking horror movies and have no life. Obviously, because I don't have a lady friend. But someday there will be a Mrs. Movie guy. That will be grateful.
A your movie girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
movie lady. But I mean that movie just blows me away. I can't ever get past it. I just love it so much because it's a fucked up movie. Like it's
I've never
scary.
seen it either.
Uh,
It's not so much like a drama as it is, or I'm sorry, a
uh,
horror as it is like a drama, right?
it's like a drama psychological thriller, but like
Okay, okay.
it's so real life of like this can happen to
Like
so
this is like
many.
real life horrors.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different. This is a tough subject to get into on a podcast, like with trying to please, you know, an audience and stay in the middle, but like 97% of everything bad that happens in the world is because of religion or politics and people's different perception of them. So it's like that
Yeah.
real life that it's fucking scary because that shit happens and people get sucked into things like that. So like it just really resonated with me. It's a brilliant film.
No, 100%. Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. Seth.
So I have two as well. They're kind of like horror, like cult adjacent, I would say. You can let me know. Ready or Not.
Okay. Yes.
I mean,
There,
the family is hunting people, and they have
there's
to kill somebody and sacrifice them.
it's
Maybe.
somewhat culty because like the family is like they have this like it's like this lineage of like this cult belief. Like
Yeah.
so I can kind of see it.
So that's one, and then the other one is Doctor Sleep because you have the True Knot,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Doctor
yeah.
Sleep is so good.
and
Oh, yeah.
I fucking love both of those movies, especially Doctor Sleep. Like the True Knot is just so fucking terrifying, and if you want to talk about killing kids, that was the first time that I actually like that affected me. Like that was absolutely brutal. Poor Jacob Tremblay.
Dude, yeah, that was a rough on-screen death. That
Yeah.
was visceral.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was rough. So
It's
I
awesome.
would that movie's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Ready or Not's on my rewatch list now that I'm heavily addicted to Samara Weaving covered in blood.
Best
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah, I rewatched Mayhem last night for the first time in a long time.
Fantastic.
Oh, fucking rips.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna watch Ready or Not probably tonight because
I would.
I liked it but didn't love it.
I love it.
But now that I'm a Azrael truther for
Hell yeah.
for the masterpiece that it is, I'm gonna watch it. So
Azrael's
Got me
about a
scared.
cult too. Azrael's a
Yeah,
cult movie.
they're in a cult.
It's
Like
cult-
it's
it's cult AF.
Yeah.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's cult AF. Okay, so now that we've done our favorite cults or favorite cult horror movies, which is like a lot of these are more mainstream media, what are some underrated cult horror movies? Because I had a hard time coming up with underrated cult horror movies. So Seth, you go first.
Yeah, I want to go so you don't take mine. So
Yeah.
I have a couple that are underrated that I
Can I,
fucking
can I
love.
guess one of yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Endless.
It is one of them.
Well,
Oh.
what about the one that goes with it?
Not the other
Resolution.
one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
not
they're
that
both
one.
good.
I like the Endless more because it's about like aliens and like time loops, and it's
You were-
crazy as fuck.
I watched it today for the very first time because I thought it was going to be one of those movies that's so out there and confusing. I'd watch it and at the end I'd be like, I didn't get any of that. I didn't like it. And then I watched it today and I was like, why the fuck did I wait so long? This is so good.
It's awesome.
I've never
I don't,
seen
I
it.
don't, I don't fully get it, but it's incredible.
I didn't either, but
Yeah.
Moorhead and Benson are fucking awesome. So that's one of them. And then the other one is We Summon the Darkness, which is fantastic. It's got Alexandra Daddario, and I forgot the two other actresses.
Of course you did it.
Yeah.
Poor Mark.
But I don't even know how to like explain it without like spoiling it because
Is that the one where they take the guys
Oh!
to their house for a
Yes.
party?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I totally forgot about this. This one's so good.
it's so good. I
It
love
is.
that movie. So
Yes.
those are my two underrated ones.
Good call,
Okay.
Seth.
That was
Thank
a
you.
good one. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. I completely forgot that I even watched that movie. I was like, I've never seen this, but oh, that's a great one. And it's
Well
very
done.
like metal and Hail Satan. Yeah, that's a great
Is
one.
it what's his face from Jackass is in it as a priest?
Yes.
Oh,
Father.
yeah.
Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Knoxville. Brian, what's your underrated cult horror movie?
Can Chuck go next? Because I don't want
No,
want to
because
step on his
don't do
toes.
it. You're gonna take mine. Go ahead. It's
Exactly.
okay.
So you go first because I've got a huge list. So if you go with yours,
No, I want you to go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So, because I know this is going to be on one of your guys' lists.
Yep.
Because the only underrated cult horror movie that came to my mind, which I feel like isn't even that underrated anymore, because I guess, which I also didn't know that Chris Stuckman blew this movie up, was The Empty
The Empty
Man.
Man.
I love The Empty Man. I love that it has to do with like manifesting
It's
and,
great.
but
And it
like
has-
make it creepy.
And it has one of the best 20-minute cold openings in film fucking history.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, the opening is so good. Yeah, The Empty Man. It also, I think I also like I ignored it for so long, and I feel like a lot of people ignore it because the title isn't that great. Like anything with like, do you have it on The Empty Man?
Fuck
it
yes, it's
sounds
on
like
my
people probably
list.
watched the Bye Bye Man and then Slender
Yes.
Man, and you're like, I'm not watching that.
The
That's gonna be the same.
Boogeyman.
It was
and they're
so
like,
it was so fucking mismarketed.
And the trailer's so bad
Yes.
as well because it's got them on the
It's-
bridge being like the Empty Man. The empty. It's like, no,
yes. If you
it's not
blow
half
into the
that.
bottle.
I know. I know. It's
I was
so
like,
dumb.
this is stupid. And then I watched the movie and I was like, wait, this is really fucking good.
It's so
Um,
good.
Yeah. So okay, that was my one underrated cult horror movie that I could conjure up.
Do you know what The Empty Man reminded me of and it took me a while to put it together, but it is very reminiscent of Manhunter from Michael Mann, that was like the Red Dragon before Red Dragon movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's fucking
With
incredible.
Brian Cox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, but it's very
Oh.
that whole end police procedural in The Empty Man is very Manhunter. It's a very good movie. Do you want to go, Brian? I'll go. Mine's
No, on you go.
Mine's The Shrine from 2010. Is that on your list? Nope.
No, I thought you were going to go something else.
No, I love it. I love The Shrine. It's about two female journalists, and a photographer. They go to Europe to investigate all these disappearances, and not to spoil it, but they encounter an evil like no other, and it's found footage, and it
Ooh.
fucking absolutely rips from 2010.
Is it found footage? I didn't think it was found footage.
Parts of it, yeah, there's parts of it is found footage because of the photographer.
Okay, that's the one with the fog and the big statue.
You have the fog and the
Yeah.
big statue, yeah. And they record bits of their journey. So is it traditional? No. I mean, it's as much as the other one we were speaking about earlier, but it fucking rips. I love it so much.
I've never
'cause
seen it.
it's super creepy.
You can stream it on AMC Plus.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Brian.
one I thought Chuck was going to say is Kill List, which I guess is a kind of a spoiler.
I didn't because we talked about it on the other episode, but yeah, go ahead. It's so good.
So Kill List is like, it doesn't start off as, or actually, if I just list them off, GG, you happy to read out the summary?
Oh yeah. Let me
Yes.
just yep, there you go. Okay, ready? Kill List.
Banger.
And from 2011.
Yep.
Oh my god, I remember you guys mentioned this one. Okay, Kill List. directed by Ben Wheatley. Nearly a year after a botched job, a hitman takes a new assignment with the promise of a big payoff for 3 killings. What starts off as an easy task soon unravels, sending the killer into the heart of darkness.
Oh, that sounds sick.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's so good.
shout out Neil Maskell for a tour de force fucking performance.
Ooh. Also
Yeah.
on Shudder and AMC Plus. Okay.
Rips.
1BR is about a cult.
Oh,
Yeah,
one
that
bedroom.
one's good. Yeah.
I've seen this one.
There you
Okay.
go. So that's about a cult.
Okay, so one BR, one bedroom. When Sarah lucks into a sweet one bedroom at Asilo Del Mar Apartments in LA, she thinks she's hit the jackpot. It's got plenty of space, friendly tenants, group barbecues, and even a cute neighbor next door. All is not what it seems. Loud noises start keeping her awake at night. Her cat is missing. Aw. Everyone seems to be a little too helpful and friendly, except for the weirdo Lester. Lester's a weird name. If anybody is listening that has
Yeah.
a name Lester, it's giving weird. Soon, Sarah learns she didn't choose this apartment, it chose her.
Why does
Yeah.
Brian get this special treatment? You get to read off all of these synopsises.
Because people would rather
Just-
listen to Gigi's
just
voice than
rude.
mine for too long. So,
She has such a lovely voice.
I know.
Exactly.
Oh, thanks,
so
guys.
one that I'm
Aw.
surprised people haven't mentioned is Mandy. I think that
Oh,
is
yeah.
got a cult.
Yeah.
And for the sake of not being on here too long, I'll also say The Void.
The Void's
Void.
good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a confession to make.
What?
I don't think Mandy's that good.
I think Mandy's okay.
It's fine.
I really liked it when I first seen it. And like I went back and rewatched it, and it's just not as good as I thought it was. Like it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just okay. I gave it like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I
have-
also
go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say I also have 2 other movies real quick that I like. I'm surprised
One at a
nobody
time.
mentioned.
Sorry, Seth.
Oh wow, Brian. Jeez.
Yeah, just one. Bye. Just kidding.
Damn. Damn,
Suspiria. Nobody brought up Suspiria.
Yeah. Which one?
and
Original or remake?
the original.
That's really more witches than cult.
Yeah, true.
so-
And then I love this one. I don't know if you guys actually enjoyed it or not, but the newest Wrong Turn.
Oh, it's
Okay.
fucking terrible, Seth.
I know.
Seth, are you
I-
okay?
No,
Wow.
Seth, I
Wow.
am on your side. I
you.
loved the Wrong Turn remake, and everyone's like, this is a garbage movie. And I was
Thank
like,
you, Gigi.
I don't
It-
care.
I
I
liked
loved
it.
it.
Wait,
Same.
we're
Yeah.
talking about the one that has like the log rolling down the hill.
Yeah, the
that
cult
one?
and the cult
Yeah, it
in the
has-
fucking hills.
I like
Yeah.
right, and her dad.
Yep.
Yes.
I will say that the second half of the movie
Rips.
was
Yes.
significantly better than the
Oh.
beginning half.
Yes.
I just thought that girl and that guy were super annoying. Maybe I'll
Yes.
watch it again.
Yeah. I need to watch it again too, because I remember the first time I watched it, I was just like, I don't know. I wasn't paying it like as close attention as I
Yeah,
would
that might have
now.
been it too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I fucking loved it.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you.
If you
It
love
also was-
love that and don't really like Mandy, your taste is bizarre.
Well, okay, no, that's not even because Mandy is very cosmic-y and
It
like
is. It's
very
weird.
cosmic-y. Yeah, it's weird. It's out there. And
It's
like
weird.
that's
When
not
you
really
yeah.
my vibe.
And when you have a dude with a fucking knife dildo thing, that it just got weird as fuck. Okay, that movie gets weird
It
as
does.
shit. I'm like, what are we watching here?
I have another
Yeah.
one. I have another one that I should have mentioned that I think
Oh, we're out of time.
you love Wrong Turn. Anyway,
Wrong Turn remake. Original Wrong Turn's good.
Yeah, it is great.
the original Wrong Turn rips.
Yeah.
And there was elements of the new one. Like I'm not shitting on it. There was elements of it because the way that village was done and the way they accepted them in
Yes.
and asked them to be like all that was really well done. It was just
Yeah.
the whole beginning half. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. There's a movie called Candyland directed by John Swab, which is not a traditional cult movie, but it is a cult movie because it's about this young girl who like navigates her life and she ends up at this truck stop and being accepted by like all these prostitutes who were basically called like lot lizards. But then you find out in the movie that she ran away from a cult. And that aspect comes into it, but it also gives you the aspect of the camaraderie between these girls that are like sex workers that work together, which in essence are mirroring the cult that she's running away from. So it's like going from one cult to another. And it's a pretty decent statement that like, if you're addicted to like that mentality or your internal search for acceptance from other people, that you can get sucked into anything about your perception. It's a good flick.
This came out in 2022. This is a newer
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Did
it's
you
good.
did you do a video on that recently, or mention it in a video recently? Because I recognize
I had a Candyland video directed, and the day I was going to drop it, Chris from Big Fat Cult, shout out Chris, dropped his video. I just completely coincidentally,
Yeah.
and then I just never went back and tried.
Okay.
It's been in my drafts. It's still in my drafts. Never put it out. I don't know why. Because I don't want to say prostitute on TikTok.
Yeah. Sex workers.
Yeah,
Listen,
well, I don't even think
Candyland
you can
rips.
say that.
Yeah.
The game Candyland rips. Just saying.
Schmex workers. Also, you said lot lizards,
Yeah.
and that absolutely teleported me back into heinously misogynistic days of Warp Tour and like show days because
Working at a Bucky's.
because because I'm sure people that have ever been in the music industry or used to be in a band or used to play shows,
Yeah,
men used to refer to women in like that would like wait for the bands in the
like
parking lot.
groupies. Yeah.
Yeah, like groupies. They would call them lot lizards.
Wait,
Mhm.
seriously?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yes. That's like an actual oh my god.
A lot lizard. That just sounds bad.
No, it's foul, man.
It's foul.
Okay, so great underrated horror movies. I've put all these on my watch list because I mean, I guess like vampire movies, I've never seen half of these. So, okay, this is a segment I'm very excited for. What real life cult actually scares you the most? Because there are some horror movies that have to do with real life cults like The Sacrament and stuff like that. But even if there's not a horror movie about it, what is a real life cult that like genuinely is like this gives you chills? Brian, I'm gonna go. Do they have
you've missed
do,
out on me.
hey, do they have cults in the UK?
Well, it's probably originated from there because, like you, I say I was hyper fixated on it for a while. So I think listening to a lot of podcasts around cults, it seemed like somebody would leave Britain, go to America because you guys are a lot more gullible, and then
Oh yes, we are.
Yeah.
then he would get all his followers that way. Scariest one is probably it's got to be what I can't remember the name of it. Jim Jones's one is the fact that they can get like 900 people to an island,
Oh,
and
the
then
People's Temple.
yes, and then like
Mhm.
we're all gonna. I know they don't all commit suicide, but to get that many people, nearly 1,000 people, to think, okay, yeah, this seems like a good idea. So we will
Yes.
ascend. Like that kind of power over people is terrifying. Uh, that's probably like the biggest cult, and totally unrelated to cults is if you're watching this from America, remember to vote on 5th of November.
Oh, yes. Go vote.
Not related to
Please.
cults. Not related to cults
Unrelated
whatsoever.
about cults, but go vote.
Go vote.
Yeah, that's a terrifying one because the thing about that is like, and like, okay, for me, I think one of the scariest out there is like Heaven's Gate. Like, yes, the
Mhm.
People's Temple and like Heaven's Gate, they're very like closely related.
Mhm.
Because you you have such a strong belief in something that you like fully like somebody can definitely fully trick you into being like, well, if you kill yourself, then this is, what
Where you go,
where
right?
you go. But also, like I remember watching a documentary on Heaven's Gate, and like people think that like people in cults are like dumb. Like, they're like, oh, like how can you ever fall for this? Like that's so like you're gullible, you're naive. But it's like some of these people in Heaven's Gate had like their like doctorates and like they were like well established like engineers or like people like it's like all different types of like educational backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds. And it's just like I don't know. It's just like the power and control that people have over you. It's scary. Um, Chuck, what's a cult that scares you in real life?
I was hoping this didn't come to me. I don't know if I want to answer honestly, if I want to answer this question,
Mhm.
just because there's a lot of things that I think are cults that scare the shit out of me, like the government. I think
Yeah.
it's a cultist mentality of people telling people what they think that they should think and do, and that's not being left-sided, right-sided, in the middle, or anything like that. Like it's just very scary how passionately people idolize politicians and people of power and will take it to such an insane level over a hat or a t-shirt or a speech or whatever it is. And it's very, very, very scary what it has caused in the United States just because of people's perception of what they're being fed and being told. That terrifies me. especially with having young kids in school and the way that things are taught and different things like that. Like it's fucking terrifying to navigate and deal with. So on a lighter note, another thing that I didn't mention is a show with Andrew Garfield called Under the Banner of Heaven. If nobody's seen it,
Oh my
So
god,
good.
yes.
yes, and I didn't want to not mention it because it's
I forgot
so.
about that.
Not only is Andrew Garfield fucking one of the best actors of the last
Perfect.
20
Yeah.
years, he's so fucking good. But it's about a devout detective's faith is tested as he investigates these brutal murders connected to a Utah family's spiral into the LDS fundamentalism and their distrust in the government. And the reason I brought it up with my statement is because they're making shows that are terrifying about the same subject matter of the way people are led, and it's a tough thing to navigate, and it's really tough to stand on your laurels and be an independent free thinker in today's society, to just hold your own view and opinion, because there's so many things being pushed at you to, you should think this, you should do this, you should feel this, instead of encouraging people to just Gigi, be yourself, think for yourself, be a free thinker. I mean, like that is scary in its own right. So that's as eloquently as I could portray my feelings on that subject matter, which I think I actually pulled off pretty well.
No, you did. That was great.
Yeah,
100%.
Mhm.
Seth, what's a cult that scares you?
Does it have to be like a real life cult? Because I don't know that many. The one you described, because I remember reading on it, and they did like an
Mhm.
HBO show.
Yes,
That
Heaven's
one,
Gate.
yeah, that
Yeah.
would probably be the scariest one that I would say, because first of all, I hate aliens and the fact that
Oh my god, yes. That they were like,
they
"Beam me up, Scotty."
yeah,
Yeah,
ping me up, Scotty, and we're like, you know what? They're gonna save us. Mm-mm. So that
Yeah.
that that scares me.
Yeah, that is. I do have to mention another cult that I think is absolutely terrifying that never gets, like, mentioned, although I think they actually did do an HBO, documentary on this, or like a four-part series or something, and it actually happened in, um in the city that I used to work in Tennessee, and I used to pass by this church all the time, and it's so terrifying because it has to do with religion, but weight. So it's called the Way Down, the Way Down cult, because it was for people that wanted to like lose weight, but they were like religious people. And so this woman used to like had like control over them and like would feed them information about like, okay, well, if you are ever like hungry or something, just like grab your Bible and start praying, like do this. And like it was a way to control that, like their weight and their like, and just like their perception and like body dysmorphia and stuff
yeah.
like that with religion. And I thought that was
Mhm.
so scary because it's like there are people that are weight is such a, it's so, uh, I don't even know. It's just it's a topic that's so hard. Like
It is.
it's so personal, it's so
It
vulnerable,
is. Mhm.
especially in America. It's like we have these like very, very unrealistic beauty standards. Our like weight and our like culture revolving weight is so scary. And
Mhm.
people are very, very susceptible to anything that will help them lose weight. So the fact that she was able to like blend these two together, like weight and religion, I was like, this is fucking terrifying to me.
It is.
So yeah, that is very scary.
That's why I
Well,
would like a horror movie around MLMs, because I think they are quite
Yes.
culty. I think there's a big. I know there is one, like a short with Barbara Crampton in it, but it's not released yet, so I've not seen it. But I think that'd be a really hot topic for a good horror movie. Would
abs-
be MLMs.
absolutely. Well,
Oh yeah.
that's what cults do. That's what that lady did. Is like cults manipulate people's insecurities, so they're
Yes.
promising them like this new look, just
Mhm.
like the substance. You could take this drug and you could be
Yes.
some different thing that's better than you, and that is scary.
And it's
There
also
that's
like that one injection that people take now to like
Ozempic.
Ozempic.
get yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Hmm.
like that.
Exactly.
Like that's
It's
that's our version of the substance.
yeah, and it's
It
yeah,
is.
it's and there's like yeah, it's but that's the word I was looking for, insecurities. My brain was like, can't think of words. Um, so,
But
um,
I'm the dork.
yes, I know. If you could join, okay, here's my last question, and this is a little fun one because this isn't real. Because horror movies are, for the most part, they're fictional. If you could join any fictional cult from a horror movie, just purely for the experience, it's not like real. You're not like, oh, I really just want to become a murderer. what fictional cult would you join from a horror movie? Mine would be Midsummer because that just seems very flowery and fun. Brian, what would you join?
I'll be honest, Midsommar as well. Like good life up until you turn a certain age, and then you just jump off a cliff, and you're like, yeah, you know what, that was fine.
Oh yeah, honestly.
Good food and music, and yeah,
And you're
good
taking
drugs.
drugs and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds ideal to me. So
Yeah.
Midsommar, and it's sunny all the time, apparently. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I would join. And
Get it.
Brian, Seth.
Get a tan, jump off a cliff.
I
Honestly.
want to join the cult that's in The Babysitter. I want to hang out with Samara Weaving and her clan and just go around, have the time of our lives, get covered in blood. That
The
sounds great.
babysitter fucking rips.
It does.
Samara Weaving
So
ever starts a
good.
cult, we've lost it.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm
done
100%
for.
joining.
No,
Yeah,
I'm done for.
If I see a poster of her covered in blood that says "Please join my cult," like I will cut myself and sign it in blood. I'm
Yeah.
in. Yep.
Yes. And I'm recruiting other people into it.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
I almost got
Chuck-
to interview her, and I was like, I don't know
Oh.
what to say. I don't like. What would I even say to her? I would just be sitting there in silence.
Yeah.
Can we please just shout out to Samara Weaving, like who
Shout out.
people were talking about like Mia Goth and other people is like even Lauren Lavera. No disrespect to those beautiful ladies and their acting,
Mhm.
but has anybody done more for the horror genre over the last 5 to 6 years than Samara Weaving? Like,
Yeah.
so they're all different. They're powerful. She fucking goes hard. Like that. Yes, that's my answer. I want to be
So
in
you've
Samara
got
Weaving's cult.
I think Micah Monroe deserves a wee bit of love there as well because she's
Yeah. Micah and
Oh,
her.
yeah.
That's
I think
fair. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like after Long Legs, because that was like a really huge release and like, really hyped up. I feel like she's getting her accolades. I feel like Samara hasn't because a
no.
lot of her releases are just, a little smaller. Like
I
they're
agree.
yeah. So one thing, since we're talking about Samara, one thing I do want to see, I hope they release a director's cut of Azrael where she's actually screaming because they said in the scenes where she's like screaming because you can't actually hear her scream. They actually did. They made
Oh.
her scream and then they cut the sound because they were like, it doesn't feel real if you're just like, ah. So they actually have her screaming and I'm like, oh, I want that.
Yeah, I
I
need
want
that
that cut. Yes.
visceral, ready or not scream.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. What would you join, Chuck?
I'm going to the Samara Weaving cult.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't. I mean, from any of the movies that I've seen with cults, they're terrifying to me. So I don't know.
They're
if there's
horrifying.
I don't know if there's any of them that I would want to join because like it's like that real life stuff that is like real horror to me. So like cult movies really fucking scare me. I mean, like The Apostle, I think is fucking terrifying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
The
that
ritual.
yeah, because the ritual fucking
yeah.
rips too. Yeah, because there's that shit happens. There's people out there that
Yes.
are living that life chained in a fucking room because they're being told this. So like, no, I want to join a fun cult. Like, I want to make my own.
Yeah, come
cult.
hang out with me.
Yeah,
I
would you
am
come hang out with Seth?
I feel bad because I feel like there are fun cults out there but it's only the bad ones that we really highlight because that's fucking scary. But I'm sure that people are like, hey man, our cult, we're cool over here.
Yeah, we're
So
cool. We only kill babies.
That's what Children of the Corn is for.
we're fine. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be like considered a cult. Cult's like a negative connotation, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let us know in the comments which cult you would join. No, I'm just kidding.
The Dark Screen Society cult.
Right. Or if you got a good pitch for a cult that we should join.
We are looking for cults to join, but for now,
Jesus Christ.
thank you guys for listening. And as always, you can find us on all podcast platforms and YouTube. If you haven't already, go sub to our YouTube. We're trying to eventually we will get there where we are like able to actually be like an established YouTube channel. But yeah, and an established cult. But thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, share everything. And am I missing anything? Oh, we also have our Ko-fi attached in case you ever want to support us that way. But again, just listening and being a part of our cult really does help us. And we have
Blood oath.
yeah, we have a very special episode coming out on Thursday because we decided as a podcast that we did want to continue. Well, it's not special. It's just we really loved what we're going to talk about. We decided that we want to continue with our movie reviews. A lot of people have been loving our like singular movie reviews, and there are a lot of movies coming out towards the end of the year that are like really big and really just conversational worthy. So we will have another one coming out on Thursday, I believe Thursday,
Yeah, on Thursday.
because this movie comes out on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people have already seen it. So be sure to tune in for that one. But until then, we love you guys. Thank you so much and stay haunting.
Bye.